Hello. Welcome to Inspirational People. Let's know the inspiring stories of great personalities. Theodore Roosevelt was one of the most charismatic and dynamic figures in American history. He was a writer, a soldier, a statesman, and a conservationist, among other things. He served as the 26th President of the United States from 1901 to 1909, and left an indelible mark on the country and the world. Theodore Roosevelt was born on 27 October 1858 in New York City. His parents were Theodore Roosevelt Sr. and Martha Bulloch Roosevelt. The family was well-to-do and influential in New York society. Theodore was the second of 4 children, and he had an older sister named Anna, a younger brother named Elliot, and a younger sister named Corinne. Theodore was a sickly child, suffering from asthma and other health problems. He was homeschooled for much of his early education, and he developed a love of books and learning. He also had a passion for the outdoors, and he spent much of his time exploring the woods and fields around his family's estate. In 1876, Theodore Roosevelt entered Harvard University, where he studied natural history, zoology, and philosophy. He was an excellent student and an accomplished athlete, participating in boxing, rowing, and other sports. He graduated magna cum laude in 1880, and he went on to attend Columbia Law School. After graduating from law school, Theodore Roosevelt was admitted to the New York bar in 1882. However, he was more interested in politics than in practicing law, and he soon turned his attention to public service. In 1882, Roosevelt was elected to the New York State Assembly, where he quickly made a name for himself as a reformer. He worked to expose corruption in the state government and to pass legislation that would benefit working-class people. He was re-elected to the Assembly in 1883 and 1884, and he became the minority leader in 1884. In 1886, Roosevelt's wife Elise died shortly after giving birth to their daughter Elise. Roosevelt was devastated by her death, and he left politics for a time to focus on his family and his writing. He wrote several books during this period, including The Naval War of 1812 and Life of Thomas Hart Benton. In 1887, Roosevelt returned to public life, accepting an appointment as a civil service commissioner under President Grover Cleveland. He was a strong advocate for civil service reform, and he worked to eliminate patronage and corruption in government hiring practices. In 1898, the United States went to war with Spain over its control of Cuba. Roosevelt was eager to serve his country, and he resigned his position as Assistant Secretary of the Navy to form the Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry unit that saw action in Cuba. Roosevelt quickly became a hero of the war, leading his men on daring charges and earning the nickname Teddy for his bravery. After the war, he returned to the United States as a national hero, and he was elected governor of New York in 1898. In 1900, Theodore Roosevelt was chosen as the running mate of Republican presidential candidate William McKinley. When McKinley was assassinated in 1901, Roosevelt became the youngest president in American history, at the age of 42. Roosevelt's presidency was marked by a number of significant accomplishments. He was a staunch advocate for conservation, and he worked to preserve millions of acres of land for future generations. He also worked to improve public health, passing legislation that protected the food and drug supply and that established the Department of Agriculture. Roosevelt was also a strong advocate for civil rights, and he worked to end segregation. Thanks for watching. Kindly like, share and subscribe.